It's critical infrastructure that's often the heartbeat of cities across the country. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Ports, both sea and air, are hubs for trade, which in turn create business, jobs, and development.
Each year, our country's ports handle $5.4 trillion worth of goods that eventually make their way into your home.
According to data from 2023, some of the top U.S. imports by dollar amount are transportation equipment, computers and electronics, and oil and gas.
But beneath the surface of this economic hub, we found international cartels used ports as an entrance for illegal drugs and as an exit for stolen goods and cash.
Between October 2023 and September 2024, U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized nearly 500,000 pounds of illegal drugs at our nation's air and seaports. Drugs like cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl.
Our team got rare access to join federal agents as they searched planes and ships for contraband.
Reporter Blair Miller takes us behind the scenes to show us how these international crimes can have a devastating impact here at home.
We had plans, and this just isn't okay.
The pain is all too real for countless families like Stacia Screws. Her 26-year-old son died after a friend let him take a painkiller laced with fentanyl.
Our family is completely broken.
Too many stories of loss have become motivation for law enforcement on the front lines of a battle against fentanyl that just won't end. Here at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers took us inside their processing facilities, where news cameras have never been before. This is where they scan and flag suspicious packages from airlines from foreign countries that could contain hidden cargo with drugs like fentanyl or devices used to make it. In September of 2024, officers detained this shipment with a pill press. These machines are able to make thousands of pills an hour, pills possibly containing fentanyl.
We're not only targeting the drug itself, but all the chemicals and the components to include the pill presses and dyes that are utilized to formulate those products that are killing Americans.
And not just here at the airport. 247 miles down the road, we met more officers here at the Port of Savannah, focused on the cargo that sails in from foreign countries.
The drug cartels are stepping up their game.
This is where these containers are held before they come and go. In some cases, officers will have these containers taken off so they can inspect them. Other times, they'll go actually on the ships to see what's physically inside. These federal officers took us along as we boarded these huge cargo ships, and they targeted specific containers based on the country of origin.
The shipper for that particular container has been known to ship items of questionable in nature previously. That prompted us to go in and take a look at their container to make sure that there's nothing in there.
With these containers still on the cargo ships and just arriving in Savannah, officers pried open the back. They carefully climbed inside some of them, not knowing what exactly was on board.
Recycled boxes of some sort.
And in some cases, finding nothing at all. Sometimes they find the cartels use duffel bags like these to hide the drugs in the back of the containers. How much? U.S. Customs and Border Protection gave us data that shows for the last year, through the month of August, they've seized more than 19,000 pounds of fentanyl at U.S. ports. That's more than ever before.
Drugs, precursors of drugs, equipment to make drugs, pill presses, things like that. To me, it feels like we're doing our part. We're making a difference.
While fentanyl is a major focus for these officers, it's not the top drug seized. That belongs to marijuana, followed by cocaine.
As federal agents comb containers for illegal drugs, they're also looking for stolen items, primarily vehicles, before they leave the country.
During fiscal year 2024, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents intercepted more than 1,200 stolen cars from being shipped overseas.
And not just any type of car, international criminals are after high-value luxury vehicles, from Bentleys to Ferraris.
Reporter Blair Miller found these types of crimes typically fund terrorism.
We get an up-close look at the efforts to uncover a multi-million-dollar operation.
This is how we usually see the Port of Savannah. fueling our economy with hundreds of thousands of these giant metal containers, loaded and unloaded from these huge cargo ships every month. Inside, everything from consumer electronics to food. But what you don't see here is what agents with U.S. Customs and Border Protection showed our team.
We've been finding very high-end vehicles, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Ferrari.
And not just a few. Officers took us inside this warehouse.
Just a few months ago, this looked like a luxury car warehouse.
Here we found one high-end car after the next. Officers told us these cars are stolen, some from Atlanta's airport, and brought here to the port of Savannah in an attempt to ship them overseas.
Now our officers kind of have to look at these cars, look for fake bins.
They showed us how it's happening. This container was about to be loaded onto a ship to head overseas. This is what officers found when they inspected it. A brand new Lamborghini.
All right, I popped the hood.
But officers noticed the vehicle's identification number had been cut out of the vehicle.
The first thing we look for, the VIN number, is to see if there's an NCIC or if it's listed as stolen somewhere.
And it turned out it was listed as stolen from a car dealership in Miami. A second car, a stolen Bentley, valued at $300,000, was also inside.
Is that just a criminal ring that's doing that and just to make money? Is that all it is, or something more play?
It is more at play. So these are typically, we're able to build out through our intel team that there's a network here. So one or two people might be linked to 20, 30, 40 cars, a few $1 million. So that is not a small ring. And typically that money is going overseas as a trade-based money laundering. And in some cases, the cases are being taken by the FBI because they are funding terrorism.
According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the cars are being shipped to countries including Ghana, Libya, Jordan, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates.
It looks like a stolen car going outbound, so typically you're saying, why do you care? It's leaving the country. It's because that money is leaving the country and it's funding something much worse.
Between October 2023 and April 2024, agents in Savannah and Charleston, South Carolina, seized more than $1 million worth of vehicles. We found they can come from as far as Michigan, Missouri, and New Hampshire. As for the people behind all of this, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents tell us they are very hard to track down, and it's a job for the FBI.